Okay, this is an example of excess limiting when you're using solutions. You need to have watched the introduction videos, so I'll do this faster. What mass of precipitate will form if you've got 450 mils of solution of sodium hydroxide, and it's 0.25 moles per litre, and it's mixed with 500 ml solution of 0.04 mole per litre aluminium sulfate. So it's a precipitation reaction, so you need to write a balanced precipitation reaction. So for every 6 sodium hydroxides, you'll have 1 aluminium sulfate. I should put this in brackets. Anyway, so you need to get used to writing above your question what information you're given. So this is a volume, V, and this is a concentration, C. So the first thing that you need to know is the number of moles of each of these. So when you've got volume and concentration, it should kind of tell you that to use this equation. So you've got 0.25 moles for every litre. You need to have your volume in litres, so divide it by 1,000 to get it into litres. So when the moles per litre is multiplied by litres, the litres will cancel out and you'll be left with moles. So do that for both. So 500 divided by 1,000. So you've got 0.02 moles of this and 0.11 moles of that. At the moment, when you just compare these, this one looks like it's limiting because it's a smaller number, but you need to take the ratio into account. So if we divide each by the ratio, then you're comparing them as if it was a 1-to-1. And in this case, you can see you have just a little bit less of the sodium hydroxide than the aluminium sulfate, so the sodium hydroxide is the limiting. They're pretty close, so you won't have too much extra of the aluminium sulfate left over. Once you know the sodium hydroxide is the one that you're going to run out of first, then you can use that to work out how much precipitate, how much aluminium hydroxide you would make, because once you run out of that, you're not going to make any more of this. So we need to do a ratio between the limiting and your product to find the mass of aluminium hydroxide produced. So ratio to 2:6. So put what you want on the top, take that over the other side and multiply it. That should be a little n. Multiply it by the number of moles of sodium hydroxide that you've got, so you end up with 0.0375 moles of aluminium hydroxide, and the mass of that is 2.925 grams. Okay, what amount of aluminium sulfate will be left over when the reaction is complete? So how much of this is in excess? So you do a ratio between this and this, so all of that's going to be used up. So you need to know how much of that reacted to start with, and then subtract the amount from what you started with. So the ratio between these two is a 1:6, so the number of moles of aluminium sulfate that reacted is 1/6 of the sodium hydroxide, which was all used up. That should be over the top of that. Anyway, so 0.01875 moles of aluminium sulfate reacted, and you started with 0.02 moles, so you had 0.0125 moles left over. Okay.